Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I'm so happy to be here with you. I hope everybody had an amazing weekend. I'm here to talk about a few different topics. As everyone knows, I'm constantly trying out different things so I can make my podcast more meaningful and spread the message to everybody. Not only people who can relate, but people that want to understand my message from a different meaning. Sometimes it's not really the topics that people can relate to, but it's the message behind what you're saying and who are you trying to attract and whose lives you are trying to impact, if that makes any sense. My last episode, I had a guest who I met online, and I was really inspired by his story, and I was really able to learn something in that episode and understand the message behind what he was telling me, and I was able to listen. That's how I was able to understand the message, if that makes any sense. So, I just want to let everyone know that I am working on a few things with my podcast, right? So I do have different ideas how I can make it more interactive. One of the things that I'm trying to do, obviously, besides getting more listeners and reaching out to more people and to build Amy's world, is to find a good intro, right? It's difficult to find a good intro when there's a lot of different things that go into an intro. So it has to resonate with my topic. And my topics are more or less about everything. They're spread out. They are based on many different topics that I think need to be spoken about in today's day and age. Even if it doesn't necessarily make sense, I still think that sometimes people need to get out of their comfort zones and be more open minded and try to learn from somebody and have a different perspective based on the different discussions that are being discussed. So, I just wanted to also discuss two things today. I'm going to be speaking about racism, right? I want to speak about racism. I think that in America right now, we have so many different people that don't have the same advantages and they don't have the same opportunities as other people. No, I'm not an equality for all type of person. No, I'm not. But I think that there are some groups that have advantages, and I do think that there are some groups that really have a better opportunity to get ahead in life, and I don't think that's fair. I don't. I think that everybody deserves the same opportunity, and it's up to them what they do with that opportunity. If they want to make it better and they want to fix their lives so they can get to the next level, that's up to them. I'm here to build, and I'm here to create, and I'm here to also spread awareness. Those are my three things why I'm here and why I keep doing my episodes, whether they suck or they're great. Whether I have one listener from freaking I don't know, France, let's just say, or some random place, it means a lot more to me that I have that than having 100 listeners in my backyard. I'm trying to attract the people that are not here in my life, that are not here in New York, and don't understand we have a authentic situation going on, unique situation, I should say. So, that being said, sorry for getting off topic, but it does have to do with my message of fighting for yourself and having a voice for yourself, but not by yourself. Always stand up for what you believe in. Once you make a decision, don't go back to the decision. Okay? So, as I was saying before, I'm going to be speaking about racism, I have a lot to say about it, but I really wanted to say that I think this is just as important. So, literally 3 weeks ago, on July 14th, I quit my job at the post office, working there for over 2.5 years. I literally did not want to work there anymore. I didn't see the growth. I've seen so many people there so unhappy with their lives. I've seen people get killed over there. Not physically, not with my two eyes, obviously, but there was a young man who died on the job where I was working at one point, and I did not want to entertain that anymore. I didn't want to have that life. I didn't want to go to work and see people miserable. I didn't want to go to work and see people get robbed. I didn't want to go to work and see people get killed. Okay? So I made a decision to quit. My decision for me quitting was a very easy decision, but it had some difficult, not repercussions, but outcomes. I knew that I was going to have to cut back on many different things. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do many things that I wanted to do from now till then. And I knew that I was going to be backwards in finishing paying off my debt. But all that didn't even matter to me anymore, because my whole entire message theory is that when I quit my job, I'm going to learn while, when I quit my job. And I did. Can I do a lot better now? Freaking hell yeah. Let me tell you what I did since I quit my job. I got a personal trainer. I've been at the gym constantly. And I started my gluten-free diet. And I also have been going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which I'm going to be going again tomorrow. So, everything that I've been doing up until now has been great, but I need to do more of it. I need to stay consistent, okay? So, today I get an email because I still have some annual leave, and they told me that I need to contact management to get me off, take me off the system. And I said, you know what? I'm not even going to call management because the system is so corrupt. And I know that if I really wanted to go back to this job, whether it's tomorrow or next month, I can have this job because nobody wants this job. Nobody wants. I don't think people really understand what I am trying to imply with this message. They're not really understanding that nobody wants to work in these types of environments. Nobody wants to get paid for a low wage. Nobody wants to get paid to go to work for 40 hours, getting paid every 2 weeks, 80 hours, and come back with, $13, $12, $1,100. Nobody wants to do that. And I understand that everybody has rent. People got families, people got food, people got health insurance, people got bills, people got cars, people got families. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And I understand that because I also understand that I need to feed myself. Okay? And I'm a grown man and I got to take care of myself. So, in order for somebody who works at the post office, they got to be at the post office for, I think it's 2 to 3 years. I'm giving you a precise timeline where they're able to become a fully career employee. And the month just started on Friday. And I was number 25 last month. And I texted the union today and nothing has changed. So you see that I quit for a reason. I had a purpose to quit. Okay? I didn't want to deal with these people anymore. I don't like dealing with people that have this type of energy. I don't want that. Okay? My goal is to take my real estate level to the next level. I've been saying that I do real estate. I'm working on something right now. My goal is to take AB's World and make it international. Even though I don't make money doing my podcast, I don't care. As long as people are hearing it and have some sort of impact, I don't care. To me, that doesn't matter. As long as somebody is listening, I don't care. Now, let's talk about racism, okay? That's literally the entire structure of the post office, by the way. A few weeks ago, I went to a concert in Brooklyn, and it was a great concert. And I had an opportunity to go with this amazing person who I used to work with. And I had an amazing time going. The vibes were good. The music was good. The food was good. The taco trucks, all that. And it was the first time this summer that I went to a concert, despite me having a job, if that makes any sense. Like I said before, the concert was free. And I paid for my own, everything in general. I'm 30 years old. I don't ask anybody for anything. So I posted a video on Instagram, and I was posting, some pictures. So, I got a lot of backlash from a lot of people in my community. A lot of, people in my family were upset that I posted a picture of somebody who did not look like me. They were upset that I posted a picture of a so-called person of color. I don't even know why people are saying that. We're all human beings. There's no such thing as black and white at the end of the day. It's something that has been programmed, especially here in America, and that needs to stop. Okay? So maybe in that way, I am definitely for equality when it comes to somebody who doesn't look like me and comes from a different culture and different background. I do think that they definitely deserve the same opportunities as somebody who may be so-called white and come from a different neighborhood. Right? I'm not even going to say better neighborhood because that's also subjective. I was extremely devastated. See how I use the word I have no other word to say. Just absolutely disappointed and hurt and upset and disgusted and angry and frustrated with the way my family and the people in my community treat other people. It's absolutely disgusting. It is ludicrous. Okay? I do not hold by any of those values. I treat people the way they treat me. Period. Period. Now, that being said, not everybody in my community is the same. Where we all have to get out of our comfort zones, and sometimes it's the sad truth. Okay? And just accept people for who they are and understand that sometimes they are never going to change. I have my stubbornness, right? I also have my arrogance. Sometimes people have this crazy perception of me that I'm arrogant because they think that I may be doing better than everybody else. I am definitely not doing better than most people. Actually, I think I'm very behind, and I'm willing to change my habits and the way I think and my thought process and the way I speak to people and the way I interact and the way I look at money and the way I look at different sorts of objects in the world, because money is an object. Let's be real. I'm also willing to change the way I handle relationships with people. It's very, very challenging to accept people for who they are because They are sometimes the closest people in your life. And I came to that realization that the old school, the old time people, that's just who they are. It's sad. It's really sad. And I understand that people are always going to have their opinions. People are going to voice their opinions. People are always going to speak their mind. I mean, I do it all the time. I take everything with a grain of salt. And I understand that we are here for a limited time only. So I'm trying to make the best out of my young life. I'm really 30 years old, and I'm extremely passionate about fitness and nutrition. I'm also passionate about building something and creating something and having absolutely no vision, because I don't know where AB's world is going to go, because AB's world is all over the place. People message me all the time, what's your niche? What's your niche? I'm like, I don't have a niche. My goal is just to talk about awareness and my experiences by also meeting people on social media and bringing them on my podcast so we can make something bigger by looking at ourselves and put ourselves in their shoes. I don't know if that makes sense. And that's sometimes really difficult when it comes to the older generation. I'm not here to judge anybody, but if we also look at it from a different perspective, right, they could also feel the same way about me. So we really have to be mindful and choose our words carefully. And that's a difficult challenge for me, somebody that has severe ADHD. It's difficult for me to choose my words. It's difficult for me to express my words accordingly so I can make things make sense. That's some of the reasons why also I have these repetitive behaviors. It's not just psychological trauma and me not listening. It's difficult to put words together when you're trying to make a point. You try to sound more sophisticated by reading books, and you want to gain knowledge, and you want to learn how to play the game of chess. You got to keep doing it. Right now, I'm literally almost done reading this book, and it's called The Definition Decade, the 20-year-old something. Look at this book, and it's even ripped, and I'm still almost done reading the book. And this book really taught me how to think outside the box even more and realize that the world is constantly changing throughout different scenarios. We may not think that the world is constantly changing, but it is. Not just with, modern day technology like AI, not just with financial banking systems, but a whole bunch of other things are also changing, and people are not willing to acknowledge that. They're not willing to see the change and embrace it. I want to embrace the change, but I don't want to do it alone. I love being alone, but I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. I'm not happy with my financial situation, but it's the current situation right now. And I'm currently doing the best that I can to make the situation work for me so I don't have to get mad about the situation because I was the one that put myself in that situation. And people are like, oh no, a lot of people, you're too deep, too deep. No. This is where it comes to thinking outside the box, spirituality. Stay tuned. So, when I heard all these mean things about my experience at the concert, and I was with this friend of mine who I used to work with, I did not take it lightly. And I, told my family that they have absolutely zero right to tell me who to hang out with, what to post, what not to post, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Don't post this. I don't care how anyone perceives my page. I don't care what people say about my page, because somebody's always going to complain about something. Now, yes, that being said, I am a realtor in New York State. Okay? I got my real estate license. And I'm working with somebody who's a very prestigious person in the real estate world, right? So, my goal is not really to care about my image. My goal is to care about my wording and my actions on social media, so people can actually think that, this guy's serious about his craft, but also be fun and cool and not so serious on social media at the same time. Because I want people to laugh. I want people to think that I'm authentic, right? And I am authentic because there's not really a lot of people that have a neurodivergent, and that are having a real estate license. There are people, but how many people understand the system and the program of actually understanding what it is to rent something in New York State with a disability? Because the laws are there, but there's always some sort of loophole and some sort of exemption. As long as you're not doing anything dangerous or illegal, you can literally get away with a lot of stuff. Now, I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm telling you, don't do anything stupid and don't do anything illegal. If you find a loophole and you want to do it, by all means, do it. Because the whole system is so corrupt and broken. And there are so many people that love to follow the law. They just love to do the law to the T. Like, to the T, 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 T. And they're going to do everything correct. All the way from step 1 to step 10. Which is great. You have to go through the process. There's no shortcuts with the process. Like, I had to go to school, and I had to pass the class, and I had to attend the class, and then I had to take the state exam, and I had to pass the state exam in order for me to get licensed. Okay? So, there's no shortcuts. There are loopholes to a certain extent, but no shortcuts. So, I just decided that, maybe my podcast is not doing as well as I want it to be, because I got some family that are really not liking my page, and they're not liking how I'm presenting myself, and they have a completely different outlook of the world and how they view my page, and some sort of immaturity, right? I think for the next podcast, I need to speak about ADHD and immaturity, because so many people that I'm associated with will most likely tell you that I'm immature because X, Y, and Z. Now, there may be some truth to that, but I'm going to elaborate on the next podcast about what that really is and what types of behaviors would be classified as somebody who's, immature. I just know that every single day I need to develop to get better. I need to learn, develop, learn, okay? And I understand that not only is this life a test, but it's a rhythm. And I understand, within the last 2-3 months, I really wanted to do more. I want to do more. My attitude is that I want to be the full-fledged entrepreneur. It's not simple. It's so not. I see so many inspirations on social media, and I know that they went through a very difficult process to get to where they are, including myself, who's not even an entrepreneur yet. But I'm here making videos about self-development, racism, that we really need to stand up for what we believe in, right? I also said that I'm a neurodivergent who has his real estate license and is working on a couple of projects. I mean, that's pretty fascinating, no? So, you really got to reflect, right? I want this month to be a productive month. Maybe not the best month in the whole world, but I want it to be a productive month. I want to know that I accomplished a few things that I wanted to accomplish, whether it's paying off my credit card, just doing more. How you doing more is investing in yourself. So, I'm a grown man with a full beard, as everyone can see, right? There's no reason for any sort of commotion and conflict, okay? I'm always here to hear the other person out. Now, people that know me will say, he's hyper, he's a little bit chatty. Yeah, which is true. I love to chat, but I also love to listen as well. It's a two-way thing. I love to hear what somebody else has to say. Because their ideas, their perspective may help me in the long run. That's why it's important to listen to the other person. Okay? So, we have to take all these ideas and we have to combine them all together and make something really, really impactful. We could make all this content, but if nobody's, willing to take action, what's the point? But also do what works for you at the same time. Don't just listen to me based on my experience, because sometimes I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Sometimes I may say two words twice. Sometimes I'm not even going to be clear on my words, because sometimes when I make these podcasts, I'm just thinking about what I'm saying. I don't like to read from a script. I like to speak directly from my heart, so people understand that I'm genuine. I'm a genuine person. I'm very in tune with my emotions. Extremely in tune. Like, I'm starting to know my body better. So that's why I think I am the way I am, because of the experiences, right? There's no more time for failures. There's just no more time. That's it. Everybody fails in their life. Everybody. So, everybody's, oh, I'm behind. I did this. I did that. Everybody fucks up. That's all. I acknowledge I fucked up. I'm still fucking up. I'm 30 years old. I can be doing a lot better. I can listen more. I can be more on top of my shit. There's so many things that I can work on, and I think it's important to work on 1 to 3 goals. So for like the month of August, I'm really working on my dieting, my podcast, and I'm also working on closing my first real estate deal. And those are things that excite me very much, because I'm passionate about those 3 things. And once you come to the realization what you're passionate about, keep going. Don't just stop. Don't just stop because you're stuck. And don't just stop because you're behind. Because I'm very behind. I don't know much about the industry, right? I don't have leads. I don't have people to call. I just know who I know, right? I don't have 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't have a car, right? I could be looking at it in that perspective. I could, but then I could tell you guys like this. That's the negative outcome of my situation. And I don't have money to invest. That's my situation. Okay? That is me. Let's change it a little bit. Let's look at it like this. I'm working with a great mentor. I got my real estate license, right? I got my health. Okay? I live in one of the greatest cities in the world. Depends who you ask, not politically. And I also have my own place, and I got a roof over my head, and I got food. All right, so look, I don't have investments. I don't got bread. I don't have a job because I quit on my own, not because I got terminated or fired. And I take to the realization that this is literally the life that I was preparing for, but better. Imagine I got like more listeners on my podcast, and I at least got a few listings, and I was able to close at least 3 to 5 deals since I was licensed. Wouldn't that be so much better? But that didn't happen. So that's why we got to keep working on progress and watch the process. And that's my message today, is never to give up hope on anything. No matter how fucked up your situation is. I literally just opened up to you about my whole entire situation and my housing situation, because I need to move out and my new apartment is not ready yet and I gotta wait. So patience, perseverance, and passion. Thanks for listening to AB's World, and I will keep making new episodes because this is what I do. See you guys next time. Thanks for listening.